think that's it. Like, I think that's the like, how do you navigate it? How do you feel like you're making it through okay, is finding the medicine in it, finding like the little silver linings, the little like glimmers of hope throughout the whole process, the specific tools that you've gained along the way, or, you know, new insights or ways of being, and looking at that as like, oh, this is actually such a gift.
Welcome back to another episode of Sessions for the Soul. Hello, my friend.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, I'm so good. I feel like every time I come here, like, and into this space, it doesn't matter what is like happening in the external or like whatever I'm carrying. It just kind of melts away, and I just get to be here with you.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm serious, like I love this space that we've created, and like getting to do this. It feels so nourishing. And so like,
it does.
Honestly, it's like therapy in its own right, of us just like hanging out and talking about stuff that we care about.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like a little container to like, kind of almost like a physical container too, of like creating a little studio space where we just get to like chat.
Yeah.
Sometimes more structured, sometimes not as structured, and just like letting it flow.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing good. I know I mentioned when you got here today, but like, I don't know if I'm ready for the rainy season yet. It's raining today.
I know.
Or kind of like just the misty, like passive rain situation. So didn't go for my morning walk. It's just, the routines, it's an invitation to like reassess routines and rhythms as we're kind of preparing to enter fall soon. So, which I'm excited about. It's just like in August, which is when we're recording this, like it just,
it feels too
conflicted.
Soon. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The gray like really will, it feels like we didn't really get like a full summer. And then like when the gray is here already, it's just kind of like, oh, like it definitely brings the energy to a different place. And so it's like, okay, time to adjust, but like, dang, that came quick. What? Yeah. Hopefully we get like those September, like October sunny, crisp days.
Those
like
are my favorite. Oh my gosh.
Me too. And I really am like, Mother Nature will pull through and give us that. Okay. Because I get it. Like, I'm not ready.
It's like it's the best having like when it's like the crisp mornings, which are my favorite, having like that crisp air and like things are a little frosty, and like stepping outside, maybe even barefoot, like that feels so nice. Sipping on my coffee in the morning. Oh my gosh.
And it's so sunny, like the way that the light, like, just like engages with the like the wet, like grass, the dewy, like so honestly, it's my favorite. And then the colors, because the colors get so good here. We're so lucky. I mean, living in the Pacific Northwest is like, it's a gift in so many ways. I was just having that conversation with someone the other day of like, what a treat it is here to like live here, to be here and have the season that we have, because we really do have like PNW fall is there's not many like top it. Tier. Yeah, top tier for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Cute.
Amazing. Well, speaking of fall, we're going to be doing like a little fall program coming up, and we probably next episode we'll announce some more details, but I'm really excited about that. That's something that I'm like really getting excited about. I'm excited to like co-host it with you, but I'm also really excited to participate in it.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I'm really excited to participate in it as well. I was thinking about that because like you mentioned, like how the season is kind of like requiring us to like assess our routines. Yeah. Girl, I've been so out of routine for like, let's like, if I'm on the ground about it, like 6 months, really derailed my whole life, this year, and like, not in a bad way, just in a, like, I was really in the routine of like waking up early, doing like getting into journaling, checking in, and then diving into work. And lately, I've just been laying in bed for so long when my alarm goes off. And I'm like, and I like to wake up with an alarm, especially when I'm out of routine, because then it like helps bring me back into it. Yeah. Sometimes I don't need it. I go through phases, but recently, girl, if I didn't have it, I'd be starting my day way later. When I wake up at 8, I'm like, the day is over.
That is what it feels like. Yeah.
I'm like,
but TBH, like sometimes I wake up at 8.
I know. Oh, so do I.
Like,
lately, girl, I woke up at 8
it doesn't
today.
feel good. Yeah.
No, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Like I feel behind.
Yes.
I want to wake up at 7.
Yes.
Honestly, ideally 6.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the program will like really like help facilitate not only like us helping other people find their routine and like get in that program,
Yeah.
but us as well, and embrace this season and
Yeah.
just like really meet like just meet like the whole transition really well. And I'm excited to of course, I love doing stuff with you because it is really fun. And honestly, like I don't know if I would be as like, if I would show up in the way that I do as intentionally if I didn't have like someone on the journey with me. And that's something I just know about myself. Like when I try to do individual offers or like do stuff alone, there are times that it works out really well. Like depending on what it is, if it's like an offering or if I'm doing like despacho or certain things, I know like, okay, that's great. And I can do that on my own and I'll be fine. But then there's other things where like, just based on who I am and my human design, like I'm really not meant to do this alone. And when I try to be a manifesting generator, which I'm 1,000% certain you are a manifesting generator. I've never done your chart. Maybe I should. My dad's a manifesting generator. Like there's a lot of people I've worked with that are, they're here to like, to create the idea, have the like thing and like kind of see the whole picture. My design, I'm meant to like help bring it to form. Or like, you know, I can have ideas, but I need like a partnership or a teammate to help me bring it to form. And so like, I just really love what we're able to create together because it helps me like tap into so much. And I think like we learn from each other and it's great to like just be able to give people more. And this offer is so like perfect for whether if you want like, you know, full commitment, minimal commitment, like this one will be really great
like
for
do as much or as little as you want is how it's going to be structured. Like we're going to give you so many incredible like tools and ideas and rituals and rhythms and all the things to like really lean into the season, but like putting in a framework for you where you get to choose like what do you actually want to integrate into your life this season so that it's not super overwhelming and like prescriptive and like all the protocols and just all the things. So
yeah,
I'm really excited about it. And I feel the same too. Just in terms of like, it's so easy to have all the ideas and sometimes I feel like sometimes I can like execute ideas and put some of that, like bring them to form and bring them to life. But other times like it's so nice to like have someone to do it with and to like just create something together and collaborate because I don't think we're meant to do it all on our own, you know?
Right.
And it's nice, I think, like as a participant to have other perspectives and other approaches to whatever it is that we're doing. So I'm excited. We'll bring some more information.
Yes, we will.
Soon.
Stay tuned. Oh my God. What? I love that. I feel like the more time we spend together, just like patterns that like existed for decades with us when we were little, like come back.
We're
like
gonna like resurface.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I'm sure we already sound really similar because our voices have always kind of been similar, but
I know I'm curious if people listen and don't watch on YouTube, which by the way, subscribe and watch. But like, I wonder if it's hard to tell
the difference
us apart.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The first time I played it for, a person that in my life, he literally was like, "Who's talking?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, "That's obviously Kayla." And he was like, "No, that's not obviously anybody." It was pretty funny. So I love that. Also Maverick listens sometimes when I edit. And Maverick is my nephew who just turned 6. And he'll be like, "Is that Kayla or was that you?" And he asks about it a lot. He'll be like, "Is this the podcast?" And he'll like sit down and he loves an adult moment. He's so
Stinking cute.
Oh, he asked me if you could babysit him the other day. And he was like, could Kayla, like from your podcast, like could she babysit me? And I was like, I'm going to tell her that you asked that because like honestly, you guys would probably have a great time together.
I would be honored, Maverick.
So I'll let you know because
so cute.
He loves meeting new people and he will entertain you. That's for sure.
That's so true. Kids are the best. Oh my gosh.
He's such a silly goose.
Yeah.
Not to just like abruptly transition, but we have to address this, you guys. You know what's humbling? Editing a podcast that you're in. We just feel like we need to just talk about this. We've talked about this off camera a lot because
we'll send each other screenshots because like when we're going through and like getting the YouTube thumbnails or getting together like social media posts, oh my gosh, the way that like getting the still images from these recordings just brings us to our knees.
I'm here to tell you we are actually so much more attractive than you guys are able to see. And I don't mean this in like this is going to could potentially sound bad. You guys, we're really quite cute people and you would not know that sometimes watching this if you are watching on YouTube. So, wow.
Yeah, it's been a journey having to look back at these, and I've heard people say this before who film podcasts and now it feels very relevant, is like I don't think we're designed as humans to like always look back at ourselves this frequently, and to do that for an entire hour episode where you're just watching and you're like, oh my god, that's what I look like when I laugh.
Genuinely.
But I'm not gonna spend too much time thinking about it, but also like wow.
No, exactly. Like, I mean, I've embraced it. I've really embraced it. And it's just like, okay, this is what it is. But then also there are those moments like I was telling you before we started recording, I met someone and they were like, oh, can I have your Instagram? And the way that I was like, I actually need to like tell you that there is some really unflattering light on there on the internet of me. And I just am really hesitant to like share that with you because I'm like, hi, I want you to think I'm cute. And the way he was like, you're being so silly. I don't care. And I was like, that's so good for you. Thank you. I did share it with him. So I'm sure he's seen some of this, but no, I'm not. Like I said, I've embraced it. It's like, oh, that's out there. And there are some faces like the one I sent you the other day. Like that episode's not out yet. It's going to be out next week or this week. Mm-hmm. And, yeah. Wow. Terrible.
Yeah. It's rough sometimes, but
yeah.
It is what it is. At this point. Like we're all in.
We are all in. And so we just really wanted to share that with you guys. Our listeners, our people, because it's just on our minds. It's on our minds sometimes, particularly when we're editing or like, sharing a clip.
Yes. So wanted to put that out there. Okay, well, how's that for like a 10-minute intro?
Welcome. Sometimes we have long intros. It's fine.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's like a little cozy coffee chat with us. So today we're wanting to chat about this like being in a season or walking through a season of life where you have like such a strong yearning and such a deep desire for something, where like something's been put on your heart or something in your life that you're like craving so deeply to have, whether it be an experience or a thing or whatever that looks like, and to be told basically not yet, like it's not for you yet.
Yeah.
And to be in that season of waiting. And this was excuse me, this was a topic that you suggested, just kind of inspired by your Substack, which if you're not following or subscribed or whatever it's called on Substack, do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to kind of chat about some of that, and we'll just kind of talk about our own experiences.
Well, like what first like inspired this was like honestly like a conversation you and I had the other day when we went on a walk together, because like really just there's been like a combination of things that like really like led to this for me, like really thinking about it and like leaning into it, because it's like such a human experience to like yearn for things and like long for something and then just like not receive it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
how I was thinking a lot about, like, after you and I had chatted and I had chatted with another friend of mine. I'm going to name drop. She'll love it because she's one of our listeners. I was talking to my friend Meredith
Mm-hmm.
and just about these things of like feeling the interesting place of being in between, like in between a desire and in between like having or creating or getting that thing. And some desires are just like out of our hands, right? Like you can want something so bad and not get it. And like, what's it like to just sit in that place? Like, what's it like to just really be there and to look at like what is happening for us and why it's happening? Because like as humans, we love to make meaning out of things and like we want to understand a lot of the time. I think that's like such a part of human nature.
Yeah.
But sometimes like I think our comprehension, like we're not meant to understand. And when, you know, depending on like whatever you believe in, or, you know, you and I both being like spiritual people in different ways, like but still like at the core of it really like trusting there is like a greater divine plan here, and like we're being guided and being able to trust that like, okay, sometimes it's not a no, it's a not right now. And how do we sit in that? How do we deal with that? And girl, sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really uncomfortable and it's really hard to deal with. And so needing the discomfort or like how to sit in it and like exploring that thought and that idea, because there's just so many different, I think, ways we cope or don't cope. You know, like there might be a season of just completely disassociating, disconnecting from it versus like a season of like, okay, I'm going to sit with this. And I'm really going to like look at like, what am I being invited to do?
Yeah.
Because there's always an invitation, I think. And so, yeah, like, and some seasons of yearning, ooh, they can last years. And that's like, and I think we can both
I think we're both in that boat.
Girl, yes. We are. Yeah. So exactly. That's just kind of like the overview of kind of like what we're going to dive into today, I think, and like what we want to talk about. But, you know, for both of us, it's like different but similar yearning, I think. For me, it's like, I have like, whew, I'm going to be so vulnerable. This feels kind of interesting.
This is a vulnerable episode.
I know. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, how do I articulate this? So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to dive in. But I like crave so deeply to be in like relationship and community. Like I want a partner. I want a life partner. I'm like ready for that. And to like build something with someone, like a life. Wow. And I feel like we're not supposed to want these things. Like I feel like we're not supposed to like, maybe it's women, maybe it's
like culturally we're told not to want these
things,
like
or to not like yearn, you know, like don't be too needy or like desperate. And sometimes I think it feels like one really vulnerable to like be like, I want my person to show up.
Yeah.
I want them here. I'm so sick of them not being here. And also like looking at on all the corners of the universe to find them, because I keep my eyes open. And I think sometimes like energetically we have to clear some stuff before they can arrive, and like things have to like really open up before they can arrive. And I know that. But you know, that's where I've been meeting this thing for the last couple of years, like really wanting certain things in my life and like ready to like explore that and nurture that, and just being in a place where like it's not arriving. And it's not that people aren't arriving or like opportunities. It's that like maybe and this is gonna like, I'm gonna judge myself for a second here. Maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe I am too critical. I don't think that's it.
I don't think so. No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But exactly, like just really like being specific about what I want in my life. And how that's just not appeared. And so now I'm like really in this place where I've had to just, I feel like the universe has been like, just literally is like, wait, you need to wait.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a little kid who's like so sick of waiting. And I'm like, it's like
Mm-hmm.
when you know, I tell my nephew like, okay, like you just have to wait. They have no concept of
Mm-hmm.
time. I have no concept of time. And I think that that's part of this is like when we don't know when it's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just makes it feel so much more like drawn out. I think when you don't have like there's no time frame, there's no time frame that we know of where it's like you are going to meet your person in this way on this day and this is how things are going to unfold. Like it's all a mystery to us. And so that's part of the challenge, I think, especially because we want to like make meaning. We want to be able to predict. We want to have like some sort of a framework of what to expect. And being in a season, which I'm sure we will be in many different periods in our life of having like a deep desire for something that we can't control. It's not like a deep desire to lose weight or get in shape or something like that, where it's like you absolutely 100% have
Control.
control over what's happening within your
Mm-hmm.
health. And if there's something that's maybe that feels out of your control, you have the ability to go like navigate that in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You get to like have that agency there. And in this situation of like desiring a partner and desiring love and connection and community, and union, it's something that the only thing you have control over is like yourself and your ability to like find healing in the waiting and like the clearing that you were talking about of having to like create space and create capacity for partnership, and also the ability to gosh, I just lost my train of thought completely.
Oh my God. That happened to me a minute ago, but I like got it back
You
really
got it
quickly.
back. Yeah, I just like just so much healing in the waiting, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and the ability to like call in that person and to work on yourself. That's what I was trying to say, like to work on yourself and prepare yourself in that season of life where if you choose to like have zero agency in those moments where you're like, I'm not going to work on myself, I'm not going to work on putting myself in situations where I could potentially meet a partner, like if you check out of all of those elements, then I think it's really easy to feel like completely out of control. But if you try and look for like the little areas in your life where you're like, okay, this like I'm stepping into a version of myself that is so ready to receive a partner, which I feel is kind of like the journey that you've been on, is like creating that space to actually like invite someone in.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I love that you said the like essentially what came to mind is like the prepare me to be the person.
Yes.
And like that has been really like in the last 2 months, I've really clarified like my like prayers and like what I'm like putting out to the universe and like to the just the ethers of like my guides and all of it of like, okay, instead of like being like, why am I not getting this and being like, give me this thing?
Yeah.
I've actually like shifted a lot to like, make me the person I need to be to facilitate that connection, that thing. Prepare me to be the person that is ready for that. Because like the reality is, right, if we're not getting it, there's a reason, in the sense of like, you know, whether that's like energetic baggage we're carrying or like it's just not, I'm not who I'm meant to be to like facilitate that or to like be able to support like my lifelong partner or whatever, or my partner for the next season, because like I obviously have no idea what's going to happen. Would I like to die with someone? I mean, I think I would. We'll see. But just really calling in like that individual that like I want to go on this journey with, and recognizing like, how is there even space in my life for them?
Right. Yeah.
And I think like just vulnerable share again. You know, I had a lot of emotional baggage and have a lot of emotional baggage around this person that I've like been on and off tethered to, like soul tie situation in my life, who, even though we didn't speak for like 5 years, and he was like not in my life at all, girl, he was like in everything I did and everything. He went everywhere with me. And there's like so many reasons as to why that happened. And kind of like the emotional tethering. There's like this thing in the Andean medicine I studied like in Peru, like with the tribe, it's called soul loss. And like they believe in their like ancient belief system is that like when we experience trauma, when the soul experiences trauma, that we leave a piece of our soul in that space. And so what can happen is if we're not like intentionally calling all parts of ourselves back and like really doing the work to bring all of us back, that like sometimes a little piece of our soul, like our soul loss, stays in those spaces or stays in that room or stays with that person. And genuinely, there's been a couple different experiences I've had where that's been said of like, I've had like a healer work with me, or like when I've talked to people about like what I was carrying around this relationship, they were like, ooh, you got to get all you back because they have some of you and you've got to go get that. Like you've got to. And so this last year, you know, it's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of a journey and not like fully have the awareness. And it's not that I didn't have the awareness, it's that I was hopeful that like it's going to work out. But long story short, like that person came back into my life, and I think really like on the other side of it now, not being in each other's lives in that same way, obviously like we're good and all is fine, but really understanding that like I had to go on that journey to like really experience it and get all of the parts back, and really like learn the lesson and like kind of clear that space, because otherwise I'd still be going into meeting new people or going into experiences carrying him and like our trauma into that. And like that honestly was taking a huge energetic piece. And so I've, like you kind of said, like I've been on this journey of like trying to like step into a space where that person can arrive, and then also like meeting the grief of like, okay, so going back down that path with this person, and not having it work out how like, of course I hoped it would. Really recognizing the grief that has come up in that, and like how it's almost like, all of that yearning and that longing was there before he came back into my life. He came back into my life and my brain was like, a solution. Yay. Like, oh, this is it. Like, I don't have to wait.
Like the easy, familiar fix.
100%. It's like, oh, perfect. I don't have to like step too far out of my comfort zone. I don't have to like be brave. I don't have to like put myself out there in a way and like go on the journey of doing that, right? And then having them removed and having it not work out, girl, the grief is in my lap. Like the way that it's just been like, okay, now I get to really meet the desire and look at it what it is, instead of placing it on a person or a thing or like some solution. It's like really been placed. The desire is just, it's like stripped down and it's clear. And so, like I've just had to sit in the discomfort and like also just really like shine a light on it of like, this is what I want. And this is actually what's been happening. This is what all the grasping is, or like the things are. And not that like, I don't really have regret around, anything I've done or my experiences or the journeys I've gone on, but really getting clear and clarifying that like, why am I doing them? And like, what's guiding these decisions? And a lot of the time for me, it really is like, I'm searching the planet for this person. No one logically would travel as much as I do. Financially, like it just doesn't make sense. Without looking for something, without seeking something. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people just like love to travel, but financially, again, I'm going to bring that element back because like, it's got to make sense, girl. So yeah, but I think like you can speak to this too in such a beautiful way, because like you two are walking a path where there's deep desire and,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah. One thing that was coming to mind real quick was this concept of like reclaiming your wholeness, just as you were talking about like parts of your soul being tethered to another being or experience. And it's like gathering all that back in and yeah, I guess like taking a moment just to like honor that journey for you and like the last 6 months of reclaiming your wholeness and also getting that confirmation of okay, I can now fully heal and know that this is not my person, this is not for me, and I'm no longer going to be tethered to this person and actually have the capacity to invite someone into my life. So
Yeah.
I think that's I know it was not an easy journey. But I'm personally excited just to see how things unfold for you going forward.
Thank you.
You know,
Yeah.
so many possibilities, so many possibilities.
Exactly. Me too, you know, and that's just it. It's like being open
Yeah.
to them.
Yes. Open to receive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fertility journey that I've been on has been so interesting. Throughout the last, I can't even believe almost like we're approaching 5 years, which is wild to think of. But there's been so many times over the last 5 years where I've had like little downloads or little messages to me from my perspective from God of like this is like when we first started trying within our first like 6 months, it was so painful for me because I didn't share with anyone that we were starting to try to conceive. And just because it felt like I would get my hopes up and everyone's hopes up, and I didn't want everyone asking, and like it just was a whole thing, and I felt so deep in grief each month. But I remember this overwhelming feeling of this is going to be a journey, like this is going to take years. And at the time I was like, oh, that really sucks. Like this really sucks. Like,
Yeah.
And then you see people, of course, like people in my life, people online where it's like, oh, that's great. Good for you. You know, tried the first time and it worked out perfectly for you. And what's I think been hard for me, maybe the hardest part other than of course, like desiring so deeply to be a mom and to watch Adam be a dad and to just raise children. Like it's such a beautiful experience, and I'm so excited and I look forward to having that experience someday. But I think what can be hard for me sometimes is when I hear other people's perspectives of like, you're not living a life that is like able to welcome in a child, or like those perspectives of like it's like there's something wrong with the way that I'm like living my life, or the space that we've created, or the capacity that we have, or whatever it may be. And I think what I've come to find over the last few years is nothing is that black and white. It's not about like the energetics behind it necessarily. It's not about how I'm eating or moving my body or the sun exposure or like all the different pieces of advice out there. What I've really found so much peace in is just knowing like there is a divine plan and surrendering to that, and also choosing to live my life. Like Adam and I have both had many conversations of living our life in a way that is like completely open to bringing a child into our life at any point. Like whenever that happens for us, we are ready. We're ready financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, like all the capacity is there for that. And yeah, just finding peace and knowing like we're ready when our baby is ready.
Yes.
And it's been so interesting too, because I think like I have these like dreams. We've talked about dreams, and I have so many dreams, and I know some people might not believe this, but I believe it, and maybe it's just because it feels like a good belief for me to have. But I believe like people visit us in our dreams, like
for sure,
like souls from, I don't know, other
from
dimensions.
source.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like what, I don't even know how to describe it. But like my grandma, since she passed away, she'll come and visit me. My grandpa the other night, for the first time in a really long time, came to visit me in my dreams. And when I dream, I like am very aware of the dream. And so I was like, this is so weird, but okay, like we'll hang out for a little bit. And I've had our child come and visit me too. And it's, oh my God, I might get choked up.
No, cry. No, I love that.
What? But just finding like so much peace in that. And girl, you know I don't cry like this. What?
I think it's so beautiful. As you know, I cry about everything.
I know, and it's inspiring to me.
Thank you. That's what my sister says. Because like last night she was like, how was therapy? And I literally just started, I was at the hostess station at the restaurant we work at. And I literally started crying. I was like, I can't talk about it. And she was like, oh no. I was like, we have people to sit at this table right now.
You're like, I gotta keep it together.
But anyway, no, I think it's really beautiful because honestly, it's just showing what's like, this is on your heart.
It so is. And I think it's, I find so much peace in the whole process. And to be honest, like being able to look back at the 5 years, because for me, it's been like, for me, I've been wanting babies since I was 20, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Adam wasn't ready, and I get it. And like, we came to a spot, where we were both like, okay, like let's start trying. But for me, like being able to make meaning of all of this over the last several years is so beautiful to look at. The person that I was at the time, who quite honestly was pretty like closed, anxious, had a lot of like limiting beliefs, a lot of self-doubt, and just like who I was, lack of confidence in who I was, also lack of clarity around like how I wanted to live my life, and was really it was really easy for me to absorb and like take on other people's perspectives on like how I would potentially parent, or how I should be a wife, or how I should live my life, and all the things. So it's been a really beautiful season of refinement for me, to really get clear on like who I am and how I live my life. And I know that like when we eventually do welcome children into our life, that like the capacity that I have today and that I will have down the road is so different than the person that I was 5 years ago. And so for me, that's like, you see these things that are like, oh, thank God that you didn't answer some of my prayers. And to be honest, and I never thought I would have said this, but in some ways I do feel that way of like, well, thank God we are in this position, because I've had so much opportunity to like mature and be so grounded in who I am.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't that person, you know, back in the day. So like there's obviously pain and grief, which is such an interesting thing too, like grieving what you don't have. That's something that like, I think we talk about grief a lot as losing something that you did have, but the grief of not yet having something is a very interesting thing to navigate. But there's also a lot of, you know, gratitude throughout this process too. So it's a mix of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you said at the beginning of that, of just talking about like how the perspectives, it's so easy for people to comment on like, you're not getting this because of energetics or whatever. And, you know, or you're not like living a life that's inviting to that. I love that you said, you know, that like, that's been an edge for you, because I think that that's an edge for all of us, no matter what the situation is. And also there's so much data in the world that says that that's just not true. Like you said, it's like not black and white in that way. Like people who are not fit to be parents are parents every day. And like, I no disrespect to everybody out there. I understand that we're all doing our best. And sometimes our best is like really shitty, as humans. And that is not like, you know, just saying to everyone that like, who's listening, no judgment at all whatsoever. But like, that was a conversation, you know, my previous partner and I had when it came to like, to children, and being like, you know, kind of like, well, we don't have any money, or we don't have this at the time, because it was 5 years ago. And which I think is so interesting, that like we've kind of the parallels in our journeys. And my response to him was literally like, crackheads have babies.
For real.
And like, that's maybe not the correct term, but it's like people who are literally on drugs have babies and figure it out. Like, we can figure it out. And, you know, just really like looking at how it doesn't always matter. Like, I don't think that the environment or whatever, like trusting that you have done everything. And like, also I know the life you live, and I know like what you do, and knowing that like the space is there, and being able to like trust your higher power, trust the process, and meet that in its fullness, and know that like exactly, it's not black and white like that. And I just really love that you brought that forward, because I think so many people listening, or maybe who are walking a similar path, or people who are just yearning for something, like it's really easy to get online and hear the like, oh, even in relationships, like I've had different periods of like coaches or things I was working with, where it was like really about like calling in your person. And there was often moments where I was like, but is it that prescriptive? Is it that like, you know, like, is me believing this about myself really going to like make them arrive, or is it just not the time, you know? And also, just to touch on the dream side of it, girl, I think dreams are so much more informative and like deep than we can even comprehend. And it's really a journey into like other realms and subconscious like beliefs and things about ourselves. And also just like, it is a place for spirit to visit us and send us messages. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And honestly, so like any indigenous belief will guide you to that. I mean, so it doesn't even matter like what, a lot of beliefs all kind of circle back to like dreams are here for us to like give us seeds. And so I believe that
lots of insights that happen from dreams, I think. And it's been interesting just on the topic of dreams, but I think just the greater topic of like all the different perspectives out there. But like people in my life who practice or are into traditional Chinese medicine, I think in general, like having a very active dream life could potentially be like a health red flag from their lens. But then you talk to people like of indigenous cultures, Native American cultures, so many different cultures where it's like an active dream life is a really good thing. And to like look at the themes that are coming up or whatever's coming up for you there. So I think that's just, again, speaking to find what feels good, like find what perspective feels good. And again, that's one of those things like a few years ago, honestly, up until the last year, there were certain things like on Instagram in particular that I would like look at of like different perspectives of parenting and childbirth and how you are in a relationship, how you live your life, and all these different perspectives where it was easy for me to kind of like box myself into what I thought maybe would feel good or like what seemed like the most holistic or the most whatever. And being able to detach myself from that and to just see it through the lens of like, that's cool, like that works for them. Maybe I can try that out in my life, but maybe I'm not going to fully adopt it into my life because it's just like, it doesn't feel right for me. And to know, like you said about relationships too, like the different like prescriptions and protocols that are out there of like, this is what you need to do. And this is why you don't have a relationship. And this is why you haven't had a baby. And like, it's too black and white.
It is too black and white.
Yeah. And it's not leaving space for, like you mentioned, and I mean, sorry to bring up substance use again, but like working in the field of drug and alcohol treatment, for me, it started to get a little challenging because we would have people come in who were pregnant and, you know, actively using, or I would hear I mean, a lot of cases of what people were doing around their children. Like, it was just like devastating for me at some point to hear these things, and also kind of calling into question too, like, why is this person
100%.
In this situation, and why am I still, in my mind at the time, like in this unanswered prayer? And I don't think we're meant to know why. Like, we're not meant to know why. There's something so much greater than us at play here, and like, it's not as simple as what people make it out to be.
100%. And like, I said this to my therapist yesterday because I like had a really emotional just session. I feel like the clearing of kind of this past relationship has really opened up, like it's brought back a lot of the things maybe I was like skirting around, like we're good, like I visited that. No, sometimes you're not done visiting things. And I said, like, I was like, I feel so like cliche, maybe pathetic, and that's like, these are all very judgmental words and it's not reality, but like to say like, how come, like, when's it my turn? Like, why not me? Like, being the thought, like, how come I don't get this and I see other people get it? And then like questioning, well, did they get it because that was what was meant, or because they like settled on that? Or like, it's like, did they get it because they like were like, oh, well, here is this opportunity for it? And that's where like I have really gotten judgmental with myself around like being so like knowing what I want, and being so like, well, am I being too picky, or am I being too this or too that? And it's like, no, because it's when there's a lot of data, like we grew up in a small town, like it's not like a lot of people in our circles. Like, I feel like I've walked such a different path, even from what I like conceptualized as a teenager or as like a young kid. And not out of like, not from a place of like, oh, like I had no plan really. Like I never really set out to be like, this is what I want. Like as a young person, I didn't know what I wanted in those ways. And it was kind of like, I'm just going to like see what unfolds. And so there were moments of like, being 25 even, and being like, okay, like I'm faced with choices that could like really bring in some of these things, but are these like the right things, or is this out of like my own desire or whatever for like just a concrete thing, like something, an absolution. And now being almost 30, right? And just being like, okay, well, I still like, where is it? And, or how come I haven't gotten it? And having to like be not critical of others and myself, and like just trust that, like, because it's not time. And it's a weird thing to have gratitude for the life that you've lived, right? And have gratitude for like what is, and also just like ache for something so deeply, and trust that like, okay, it's going to happen when it happens. And like, I think one thing that has really been coming forward for me in this process is believing that it will happen, because it's so hard to believe. Like, we don't talk enough about how hard it is to actually have faith in the arrival of something, because we don't know. We just literally have to believe it'll happen one day. And girl, trust.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. And I think it's an active choice too, of like stepping out of almost like that victim mentality of like, why me, or why not me?
Right.
Like, why is this happening for others and not me yet? And like, it's the like kind of woe is me stance. And like, we've all been there. I've for sure been there with fertility stuff, but like, but to make that active and conscious choice to step out of the victim mindset, and to say, and to settle into that, like almost the surrender and the act of faith of, this will happen for me at some point. It might not be what I pictured, or like the timeline that I pictured, or the person that I pictured, or like whatever that looks like, but it will happen someday. And to like hold space for both like the the gratitude of it all, and also the like pain and grief that it isn't yet, that it hasn't happened yet. And so, yeah, it's all of it.
It's all of it. It really is all of it. And like, I realize right now I'm like realizing like we haven't really given any insight on how to like cope with it. And I think the way that we have given insight, like we actually have given insight in the sense of like, it's actually, there's no like tool. Like we don't have a tool for you guys. We don't have
it's
like
not a black and white, do this.
No, exactly. There is no like right or wrong way to sit in these places. It's just really like, it really is just meeting it as it is and as it arrives and as it comes and goes. There are some days where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Like I feel great and I don't need these things, or like I'm in my pattern or my routine and my flow of like, okay, this is good and I'm getting to do all these things. And then there are days where I'm like, I want to fucking kick and scream and be like, you know, like I ache for this, you know, and wanting to have these things. And so just like for our listeners, kind of reflecting that like there is no like a solution to like sitting in this place, and it is uncomfortable at times and it is hard, and understanding that like there's medicine in all of it, because one day believing that like when it does arrive, it'll just be like, oh, this is so much better than I could have ever imagined, or this happened how it was supposed to. And trusting that, you know, it's like I've been able to really meet the reality of the things that I've gotten to do in the last 5 years of my life, that I would not have been able to do had I walked a different path. And having stepped out of that relationship, and that whole like portal that was, you know, and like my belief system has really like brought me to understand that like, you know, and like this is gonna get woo-woo for everyone.
Do it.
But like the past life connection that like this person and I have had, and how we've journeyed together before, and oh God, we're gonna journey together again, probably. And I'm just like, maybe we'll learn in this life so we don't have to, but that takes two souls, not just one. And so who knows what will be learned, or like what will be released, and how it will come back in the next life. But understanding that like there was a lesson to be learned, and I had to learn that lesson with him in order to like, to be able to actually like meet someone and love them the way that I desire to be loved, because all of the moving parts of who we are and what we experience in life, right? Like from our familial relationships to romantic relationships to friendships, and like walking a path that's been incredibly codependent, and where there hasn't been a ton of belief in myself around being worthy of love. And like that's been my work, is to like feel good enough for that, and for like to be chosen. Like, oh, this is crazy, but when him and I started talking again, I had like deep awareness around, there were moments where we would be together, we'd be like on dates or doing things, or even like being intimate, where like things just didn't feel quite right. And like for me, like the awareness coming in of like, this is an invitation to choose yourself. This is an invitation to like not settle in the way that I was like, dismiss that. No. We're going to go down this path. My sister even said to me, like at one point, she was like, cause I, you know, like, hello, I cannot walk a path alone. I've got to rationalize things out with others. And that's part of the lack of trust in self. And like, that's a whole other thing. We've talked about it before, in other episodes, but like really like needing like to move through it with someone. And so I would be like texting my sister and be like, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know if this is like feels right, or like I'm feeling really insecure, or I'm feeling like really like neglected, or like it's just my needs are not being met in the way that I need them to be met. And like, what's the invitation there? And like having the awareness that like the invitation is to choose myself, and the invitation is to like not settle, and like to really be clear on like the life and the love that I want. And one day she said to me, I just wonder if you're not so like, if you're not jumping into this like, you know, head first, eyes wide open, because you're so like ready and eager to get out of the place that you're in life, and like you're so ready to be in something else that you're like, oh, a solution.
Yeah.
And when she said that to me, I was like, oh no, that's it.
Yeah.
100% you're right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do this anyway.
Yeah.
And so that was like a funny thing to walk through, like, you know, have the awareness brought forward and still be like, but I'm going to try this, because what if it does work?
Right.
And, you know, part of that I think is like just trusting that there was more to learn.
Yeah.
There was more to be learned. There was like more unfinished business that needed to like wrap itself up in order to like head into the next phase.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to just like meet those parts of ourselves that, you know, might not, on the surface, it's like easy to not really dive into them or like sit with them or explore them. And when we do, like what medicine does come forward, because there is medicine in all of it. There's like learning in all of it. Like we can look at every situation in our life and every yes, every no, everything that unfolded, that worked out, that didn't work out, and be able to say like, oh, like what did I learn?
Yeah.
I learned something.
And I think that's it. Like I think that's the like how do you navigate it? How do you feel like you're making it through okay, is finding the medicine in it, finding like the little silver linings, the little like glimmers of hope throughout the whole process, the specific tools that you've gained along the way, or you know, new insights or ways of being, and looking at that as like, oh, this is actually such a gift.
Yes.
Which is so hard to say sometimes, like when you're in the thick of it, especially if you're like deep in the grief and the pain of the experience. But just to remember, like there is always a lesson to be learned. There's always you know, tools to be gained, and to just figure out like what does that look like for you, and how can you really integrate that into like the fabric of your life.
Yeah, it is that, you know, like as you were saying that, I'm just like remembering moments where I've like, you know, I love a good cry. Like as we talked about earlier in this episode, like, girl, I'm a crier. Sometimes I'm like, could you not cry right now, please? And it's like, it's out of my hands.
Yeah.
And it's something I've learned to like embrace about myself.
Yes.
But like those moments where it's like, you might be ugly crying and still be able to just be like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, and like, this is a gift. Yeah. And even if you have to do it like tears and all, and like, you know, like bear down and like trust it. It's like, it might not always feel good. Gifts don't always, like lessons aren't always
cute. They're not always cute and
like we
perfectly wrapped.
No, I think sometimes we want them to be like, we want it to be like, and then I learned and now I'm at peace. It's like, no, I learned and that fucking sucked.
Yep.
And okay. Like, and we keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I hope that in a year we're able to like look back on this episode and have
this little time capsule podcast that we're doing.
I know.
That's what it feels like sometimes.
That's cute. I actually really love that.
Yeah.
It is. It's like a, you know, it's a way to like kind of also for us and everybody who's on this journey with us to kind of see our own growth and our own journey and be like, you know, in it personally. And I think it's beautiful that we get to come to this space and be vulnerable and share, because I think so many people probably will relate to this in different ways or in similar ways. And being able to be like, oh, look, I think evidence is so important to us as humans, like having the evidence to see, like, you know, whether it's people who have been walking fertility journeys of like someone I know this year who tried to have children around our age. She is in her 40s and just had her first baby, and like all in the perfect timing, all with the right person, like in the right space and all of that. And trusting that, like, you know, we don't know the timeline.
No.
But it's gonna happen.
It'll be perfect.
It'll be perfect. It's gonna be perfect. And
yeah,
giving ourselves the evidence and other people the evidence, like through walking the journey with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like this is a good place to end.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. And just a reminder to like and subscribe and follow and share and all the things on all our socials that you can find in the description below.
Yes.
So we'll see you guys next week.